this is gonna get funny. This is gonna get weird, Liz.
I heard you say per use.
You did? You heard that?
I did. And I feel like that's kind of unfair.
Here's my thought. This is what I'm saying, LG. So like,
I just feel a little,
well, hold on a second. Hang on. Let's just hold on.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I just, I was talking in a whole other space on another platform. You know what I mean? And you were able to circumvent all of that and just appear there. But when I want to do it, all of a sudden we've crashed the call again. You know what I mean? And so that's why the reaction that it would appear that I was literally stroking out. You know what I mean? Because I was like, she can't do any of this.
I don't know why. It's just you know what? Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hello, Argentina.
So
hello.
Hey,
hi, Azure. Hi, Angel.
Hi, love. Do you like this? I got dressed up this morning.
I just want everybody to know that Azure sent me a message right before this thing. I'm COVID dressing up. And I was like, wow, I'm wearing the same sweater I slept in.
I also slept in this tank top.
But did you sleep in the bow tie? That's the question.
Oh my God, because that would feel like choking for a longer period of time, which could be.
How do you attach a bow tie to your neck with no collar? Question. So many questions.
Oh, it's a clip.
Onto what? Your Adam's apple? No. Epi now? Epon? You know I can't spell. You know I can't spell, Azure. Hello, Netherlands.
Oh, man.
Hello, world. Oh,
that's so good, y'all. Hey, everybody.
Hey, we're back. We haven't
doing
talked to each other all summer, other than when I bombed your birthday party the other day with
you
Emma.
did. And that was a lovely time. That was really very exciting. And I've been watching the replay because people have been just reposting it. And I was like, wow, you need help, Azure. Like there were so many muscles, it's surprising I'm not sore.
I like when you said my whole mind is blown.
Yeah, what's happening? The whole thing.
The whole mind.
The whole bit.
A little bit of it. My whole mind. My whole mind. That was super fun.
How are you doing? How are you?
I'm back home in my church in New Jersey.
Yes.
And this is where I will be for the winter. I'm settling in, getting my wood pile stocked. I'm not even kidding, man. I'm like country down, man. I'm like going back to my roots, basically, of like homesteading.
It's so early for talk of roots.
Oh my God.
Get it together, Elizabeth.
Azure, give me news. Give me news. Tell me things. Where are you? You look like you're in a fancy setting.
Oh no, it's a drape from IKEA.
Oh,
a deep green. And this is the same pink chair that I bought. They were $30 each.
Is this your new like studio that
you? It is.
Like it. I like the drape.
It's who I am as a person. I just like it to feel elegant. Because if you can't sit in front of an IKEA drape and a dusty rose chair with a rayon clip tie,
you keep
in a tank top.
Clip, and I keep having to ask, clipped to what? Itself. Okay, good. I was nervous. I thought maybe you had like a little hinge attachment on your neck.
Cool. Says that's an experience you've had prior? Is that something that's happened for you? Yeah. And this is not the year to assume. This is the year to know that like different things are happening. We can't be sure.
No. Don't think you know.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so you're back home in the church. So you're resting for the foreseeable. You're hibernating. You're doing the thing.
Hibernating, man. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, this isn't how I normally would spend my life. Like, I'm not a hibernator.
What do you mean?
I like to go places, Azure. I don't know if you know that about me.
I didn't know. You give me kind of this homesteady feel. Just like a No,
I can just do it.
Hunker down.
I can do it if I have to. If there's a fucking pandemic.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I can pull the homestead out of me. but it is not my default setting.
Mm.
But I want to show, can I show you something really cute? You guys
Yeah, I
want to
want
see
to see it.
something really cute? Okay.
Yep.
You know my dog Chunky. Um,
Yes.
but you don't know his wife, who I'm dog sitting for the next 2 weeks, whose name is Dilly. And I just want you to see her. Wait, where'd she go? Dilly. Oh, I swear I do have a dog. It's not an imaginary friend.
Oh, everyone, it's hard. It's harder when,
Her
you're
name is Dilly, and she talks
sometimes
to
your
me.
friends ask for
I've been
help.
alone a long time.
You're just like, blink. You okay? Yeah.
Her
Mm-hmm.
name is Dilly, and we do math homework together, and she's my friend, and she understands me. And
Oh,
I didn't imagine her. I didn't imagine her. Anyway, if she wanders by, I'll show you.
no, fair
Um,
enough. That's cool. That's cool. Um,
so,
what?
honey, your state is on fire.
Yes, yes. 2 Sundays ago, I walked out to the front lawn and got to take a look at it. And I'll tell you what, Liz. Here's a
Yeah.
direct reenactment. I walk out. My housemate says, "Oh man, like yo, you come check this from the front lawn, yo," with all the O's. And I was like, "All right, cool." So I walk out to the front, and it's just all the mountains aflame. And I have been calling this year a trash fire, so it feels apropos. But
Wait,
then
are
I
you
just
saying that you summoned this by using the word trash fire enough that you manifested it? I know how we feel about manifestation. Just wondering. Did you have it on
EPON.
EPON? Did you have it on your vision board?
You are, something's wrong with you. And I keep trying to say this live because people assume it's me. It's definitely you. I posted it on my Instagram this morning. You're the one.
I'm
It's
the
her.
one. I'm the
Dear
problem child.
ones.
I'm the problem child, man.
Oh y'all.
Yeah, dear
Yeah.
ones. I am.
Yeah. So the
Okay, so you've been talking about a dumpster. We have to be careful what we say this year. It's like all of a sudden it's like you thought
yo.
you were kidding about
Yeah.
uh,
So that's how I'm not saying something. Somebody the other day was like, what could happen? I'm like, get out.
don't even
Get out. Don't come
don't
over
even.
here. Don't come over here with all the get out
What's the
immediately.
what's the worst that could happen?
I'm like, huh?
Okay, never mind. What's the fifth worst thing that could happen? Let's just try that. Let's just
How
make that be the
about
experiment.
yeah, like how about like we make a grocery list on Instacart and you're like, I need some lactate milk, some eggs, and $500 million. Say that. Tell me that. Not what's the worst
Manifest
that can happen.
that.
Do
Namaste.
that. What's the worst that can happen? Get out.
Namaste.
Yeah. So
Ooh. So you
yeah,
looked
so
outside, the hills were
looked it out.
aflame.
It was a flame. It was a trip because you immediately go to the news. You can't find any consistent stories.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot, and then of course you find out that the one that was a bit east of us, east of where I live, was a gender reveal, and I was like, everybody paying attention to that? Like, are we everybody clear? Everybody,
I
we
know, I
got it?
read about that. I read about
We
that.
all set?
Can we stop that? Can we, there's so, aside from the fact that you might set all of a state on fire,
Mm-hmm.
can we also just discuss how incredibly hashtag problematic that is?
Shut up. Shut up, everybody.
How
Those are
about
my
this? How about
thoughts.
you let your kid reveal to you what their gender is as they grow
Cool.
up,
That feels cool. That
right?
feels super cool. Yeah.
Right? And
Let's
then have a
call it a
party then.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
because
celebrate then.
we'll have a party then when they're like 7 and they're like, you know what? Then you have your party and
And
have there be no flames.
yeah, because what I was thinking too, when we do have the party, when the kids like, hey, yo, mom, dad, this is who I'm going to be, we won't have it in a dead mountainside
How about that?
covered in brush.
How about that?
You know, I don't know. Thoughts and prayers, prayers and thoughts. What a concept. You can't
My
be sure.
sister went to Bryn Mawr College, women's college, and
Yes.
she was an RA. She overheard the greatest conversation between two freshmen on the first week of school. And one of them was a debutante from New Orleans. And the other one was a woman who had been raised in Berkeley. And so two very different worlds. And the debutante from New Orleans was telling the woman from Berkeley, the young woman, that she was so embarrassed when her family was so traditional. She was so embarrassed when she was 16, her parents had a coming out party for her. And the one in Berkeley, the only context that she had for the word coming out was coming out as gay. She had no idea there's this tradition of like being introduced into society at a ball.
Right.
And
Right.
my sister, of course, knew both definitions. And my sister said, I just decided to just sit there quietly and let them work that one out. Because the one from Berkeley kept saying to the one from New Orleans, wait a minute, that's amazing. Your parents had a coming out party for you. They were cool like that. And she was like, no, it was so embarrassing. They invited all their
Hmm.
friends. It was in the newspaper. She's like, that's incredible. They had a
Hmm.
party. Anyway, language
Yeah,
matters.
it does because then, because it's like on one side it's Scarlett O'Hara, you
Yeah.
know, uh Rhett Butler and that whole that's problematic. And then on the
Yep.
other side it's just like, yo, let's get down with the get down. And then those two people meet, but nobody's saying anything. And
But
you're just
nobody says,
but your sister is kind of just like,
hmm,
oh yeah, yeah, cool,
I'm gonna let this
cool.
just, I'm gonna
You
let
know
this
what?
just work itself
They
out.
Kanye like you did the other day with Emma. They were just like, yo, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish that, but also this. So yes, yeah, so that happened. That happened. They are still really working to try and get it under control. The
Mm,
air quality has been horrific. But we have not had to, take any massive drastic measures, which is a blessing. And they appear to be, working and doing their best to get this eradicated. Although I did see a headline that said they had hoped to have it contained by the end of October, and I'm like, yo, where are these job postings
mm,
where you just get to just kick it like the weather people? Like
mm.
we think it might rain. I'm like, what? But like nobody's mad, Liz. I can't just say stuff like that. People get
Is it,
upset.
do you think it's just a general numbing of like, oh, okay, okay, end of October, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I don't
okay.
know. Like, I feel like it feels like you can't really have a reaction anymore. I
Yeah,
feel like every day I spend like an enormous amount of time waiting for the boom. And sometimes I get through it and nothing has popped off. Sometimes
right.
the day ends and you're like, okay, cool. And
Just
then
the just the original or old disaster is still
yeah,
happening.
just that stuff.
Right.
And we like, yeah, yeah, cool, 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 cool. So nobody's protesting, sitting on the floor in Costco about
About
a
math.
mask. So that's cool.
Or marching in Target. Did you see that one?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm like, yo, America, hey, have a seat, have a seat. We are globally pooping in the pool. You guys gotta sit down. We gotta have a seat, y'all. So those are some of the things. And then other days it's fire. And then the other days, it was that really costing news about Breonna Taylor's civil settlement. So I think you're right. I think that we are at an all-time high of load of just like
Yeah.
how much you can take in, and
Yeah.
no matter where you are on what side of whatever spectrum, like everyone can universally agree this is immensely intense.
Yeah.
And the loss of life in this intensity is heartbreaking. It
Yeah.
truly is. So yeah, I think it's been that I truly have been so grateful to have like our friendship and just people that I know that I can call and just like laugh with or say nothing with,
Yeah.
and just kind of just exist and without people expecting more of you when you really don't have it to give. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been exhausting, LG, for sure.
How did the Breonna Taylor settlement land on you?
You know, I think that happened the day after my birthday. My birthday was on Monday, and that was a beautiful day. It was incredibly simple, really nice, and I have come to really truly understand like why respite is so sought after,
Yeah.
as opposed to like the fiesta all the time and everybody just always like going kind of nuts. It was really nice to just have a quiet day. And so the next day I woke up feeling very refreshed, feeling pretty good. And you know, I had a tough day on Tuesday. I had some really personal news that kind of hit me in a really terrible spot that I'm still kind of processing through. And then the Breonna Taylor settlement came through right before that other situation happened, and I have found that I have just been shut down by that. That it just blew my mind. When I heard about it, my friend is here from out of town, and he was like, "Did you hear about that?" And I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Like that can't be the thing. That can't be the thing that we're doing." So it broke me. It truly did. I want all of us to collectively want more. I want
Yeah.
us to stay focused on wanting the right thing. I remember talking to you in June when the marches had begun and people had finally drawn their line in the sand and said this is enough, and we talked about, is this progress? should we feel hopeful? And it's a couple of months later,
Yeah.
and we're Jacob Blake is awake, but paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? And like, we've moved on from that too. And then this happened, and I was like, I'm out. Like, I'm out. So I wanted to talk to you just because you and I have just been in it, like separately, just like talking about like what is happening here. What are we going to do? Is this bigger than a don't post anything on this Tuesday? Is this bigger than
Yeah.
let me give my mic this day? Is this bigger than I bought a couple of books? Is this bigger than all of the DEI work that I've been doing? Literally for the last 7 weeks, I have been booked solid with these
Mm.
companies that some want to do the work and some love the performance. So
Yeah.
I've stepped away from those companies. Those are clients that I have not kept on because I'm like, you want me to be the face of your performance on top of this, and I can't do it.
And do
So
you feel that like, do you feel that intuitively, instantly? Can you read that, the vibe when you're like, these people are earnest, these people are not earnest? Or can you see it in the questions that are being asked or the conversation? Like, how do you feel your way into that?
I think that I am trying to go in this from a space of like, well, Azure, what are you going to do? Like, if you have this platform and this is your skill set, and you have been doing this work when you worked in human resources and 12 years before, right now, like, are you going to keep doing it, or are you going to check out? And so I have decided to do the work. It's a pivot for everybody. Everyone has had to kind of reimagine what this year looks like for them fiscally and emotionally and creatively. So I was like, all right, let's do the thing. Let's put our head down. Let's get in it. And some of them, it's right away. You can tell on just the consultation call. You're like, oh, no, no, no,
Mm.
this isn't it. And then
Yeah.
other times, like, I may be skeptical, and then they surprise me. I had a really great time working with the quartermaster sommeliers. Great group of people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that gig. Yeah.
Yes, they're hilarious. I mean,
Yeah.
stone fruit and the Chardonnay and hints and the notes. I never knew what they were talking about in that way. But they wanted to do it. They
Yeah.
wanted to do the work. And there are some other clients that I'm just like, absolutely not. We're not going to perform. We're not going to do this. And
Yeah.
I can't be the face. I cannot lead you with that. I won't do that. So I was hoping that we would, as a society, as a country, stay with this a bit longer. But I feel like it felt incredulous at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us in this Black activism work wanted to be right. I certainly don't think that that's true.
Yeah.
I wanted to be surprised. I wanted to know that this is still going to matter to people, and they weren't just going to be like, oh, it's so heavy, I can't do it.
Right.
Because this is the stuff. This is what's
Yeah.
happening. Like, this is how this happens. This is exactly the problem. And so it then takes us all the way back to that first conversation we had on Teller, and people are like, the rioting. And I'm like, you're looking at a reaction of like sheer disappointment and anger. And
Mm-hmm.
inside of that, feeling unsafe. Like, I really don't care what your additional narrative is. Like, this has got to stop. And if we don't continue and persist, then you get a $12 million settlement. Like, I don't, what is that? What do you want us to do
I
with
saw
that?
somebody commented, wouldn't it be so much cheaper to just stop killing Black people? Um,
Yo,
it would also be so much cheaper to stop incarcerating Black people. It would be so much cheaper. There's a lot of, if only for that reason. But I keep going back to an interview I read years ago, an article about Lee Merritt, the
mm-hmm.
civil rights attorney who's behind
Yep.
a lot of these settlements, and to his credit has gotten a lot of these families huge settlements. And he was speaking about his disappointment because he had always had this mindset, which logically makes sense, but weirdly, innocently underplays how deep racism is. He thought that if you start hitting these communities with these enormous bills for deaths and violence and wrongful, that eventually the communities, just to stop having to write these giant fucking checks,
Yeah.
would pull in their dogs, right? Like
Right.
pull in
Right.
the police. And he said there's no indication that that's what's happened at all.
No.
It hasn't changed anything. And I remember in that article he said, we're going to have to start sending these police officers to prison.
100%.
We're going to
100%.
have to start sending them to prison. And how can you send Breonna Taylor's killers to prison when they haven't even been arrested?
Right. Well, that's the thing, Liz. I'm like, it explained to me where then you get to completely mitigate the law and whatever justice is, regardless of the fact that you are sworn in to protect and serve that. But now you just were like, well, I know we murdered her, but like, oh, let's do 12 million. That's an
Yeah.
enormous amount of money for no wrongdoing.
Yeah.
Enormous.
Yeah.
That's a very large sum of money for it to just have been whatever the jargon was in those
Yeah.
pleading documents. And there's no arraignment, there's no conviction, there's no indictment, there's nothing, there's no search, there's nothing. And I'm just like, and the thing about it is, yes, investing into these communities that are socioeconomically challenged, but unconscious bias or inherent oppression, the Black communities don't yet know what to do with that kind of fiscal win, because
Right.
they're not taught that. These communities then can't absorb that and do good and do the things, because like, you're mourning the death of your children at the hands of the people that are sworn to protect you, and you're just supposed to feel better about that because you can shop. Like, how do you equate that? And so it's this whole thing of just watching the world rally for the untimely and horrific passing of Chadwick Boseman. And then juxtaposed to that, this young woman was asleep in her bed, and here's 12 mil? And they called it groundbreaking. How so? You know what
Mhm.
would it be groundbreaking? Arrest them. And
Yeah.
when you arrest them, you make sure that the sentence carries and that they're not then released on good behavior in a couple of
Right.
months because of overcrowding. It is a follow through, which we don't have that. And that's the very thing that so many of us in this Black activist space were reticent to discuss in June, because people are like, you have to feel better and it's a change and we can see it. What do
Isn't
you
this
see?
exciting? Isn't
What
this
do you
exciting?
see?
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Because we've
Yeah.
been here. We
Yeah.
keep getting back here. And
Yeah.
it has been accosting to see just how marginalized Black voices have been, just what a commodity we are,
Yeah.
just how much we are employed to entertain and mourned when we are a loss of revenue. I was so pleased to see the NFL policing their feed on Facebook for people that were responding to the booing in the moment of silence. And the NFL said, we're taking screenshots so we can call your employers, so we can let them know just who you are. Like, I want action. I want
Yeah.
application. And don't tell me anything. I don't need you to wear a sign. I don't
Right.
need your shirt. I don't need you don't have to buy my book either. That isn't it. I would like you to stop doing this.
Yeah.
That's what I would like. I would like you not to steal Black art. I would like you not to take my words and make them yours and profit off of that. I would like you to just let us be equitable. If in fact all lives do matter, then let us all be on the same playing field. That is cheaper than $12 million. That's what that is. Because Jacob Blake's children will need mental and just mind and emotional health for the rest of their lives for what they have witnessed. And they won't get it.
Yeah.
And mental health is destigmatized. There isn't destigmatized in the Black community. That's not a thing. So there are all these small caveats and all of these spaces that are designed to look as if it's progressive, and it isn't, because people like you and I can have a dialogue, we can have a conversation, but it doesn't go farther than us.
Right.
It doesn't do much more than that, because people like you are smaller in the majority. They don't want to listen. They want to be hurt. They want to get upset. They want to say, how come we're talking about this again? They want to say, why are we always talking about race? How come this again? Why are you upset? I have a Black friend. All of the things, all of the stuff, but if we could have more of these conversations and we could be heard, and that listening could be absorbed and applied in our society, in our justice system, in our equity, in our lack of that, maybe we could get somewhere. Maybe we could actually have a conversation and I wouldn't roll my eyes at another march. Because where are you going? What are we doing? What are we going to do? My heart breaks just all the time, Liz. And it has been an exercise in futility and patience just with myself on a daily basis, to just be where I'm at and be okay with that. And if I'm not having a great day, then I'm not having a great day. And if I feel that I'm not being treated fairly, then I hold that and I own it and I deal with it. And I forgive myself for the day, for not being as personable, for not making people laugh, for not having a funny poem. for not making them feel good or feel better or feel encouraged or inspired, I just let it be. And that has been something that I know a lot of us are working on, just being okay with where we are, because it's incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating to have to think about, should I evacuate in a country that I definitely don't know that I'm safe? I think I'll stay in my house.
Mm.
Like, bring the fire to me, because I don't feel any safer out there, and that's a thing. That's a real thing. So anyhow, I agree. Reinstate Kaepernick, and I'd be impressed with the NFL. Yes, at the very least, I would say that somebody is monitoring their social media. That's not just continuing to say that this isn't going on. So I feel you, Yvonne Richmond. I'm with you on that. Thanks for asking, Liz. I appreciate it. I really do. And thanks for talking to me that day too. It's good to know that there are people that I can speak to that can just hear me out and not then immediately start defending themselves. I get very, very tired of and the word is played now too, just like transparent and authentic, but all the fragility, like, miss me with that. Just listen. Just listen. It's not happening to you. That's all I need you to know. That's all I need you to acknowledge. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't have to be upset. We don't have to fight. We don't have to do any of that. I just need you to just acknowledge that this is what's going on. I don't need your I don't need how you've ingested it. I don't need how you're comparing it to something you've been through that isn't this. If it's not this, it's not this. Yeah, and I feel that. I really do. So
I also feel like lately I've been aware of a term that I've come to call the violence of hope. And what I mean by that is, you and I have a conversation like this, and then I feel how horrifying it all is, and then I want to say, so where do you find hope, Azure?
yeah.
You know, where do you find your hope these days? And I'm guilty of having said that to Black friends, like, and what I'm doing in that moment is I'm trying to rechannel the conversation, because, ooh, this is hard. This is painful. I feel hope. I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. Hey, will you tell me something that will make me feel hopeful, that will make me feel like things are going to get better? And I don't do that anymore. And I just want to suggest to others, don't do that. Because it's, there's a violence in that,
I think that statement is profound. I think that it is it's so damaging and disrespectful. And because, like, you look around and you see, literally, I mean, you could be in the same position as Nero himself, just watching Rome burn to the ground with the violin, and he's just kicking it, impeccably dressed. And someone like that, when they say, but where do you find hope? It's like, but isn't it warmer? And I'm
pretty
like,
soon there'll be wine vineyards in Greenland.
and you're like, yo, that's enough. You get
Yeah.
out. So I get it. I get that, and I appreciate it. And I have in the last few months, it has been a violent exodus of people from my life, because we literally cannot have a conversation. We just can't even talk about it. And if I even suspect that someone's getting ready to be like, oh, is this a race thing? I'm like, oh, we have to go. This is still just who I am every day. So yes, it's still happening because we still haven't fixed it. So it's not better. It's not better. It's definitely not better. And I'm not saying that any of the other things that aren't happening are also not so dastardly, but any of these individual things on their own would shut people down.
Yeah.
This on top of this, it's too much. It's too much. And and I've said it before, you have got to give space to Black people, at least in the United States, for the trauma that they are experiencing right now, consistently. I mean, even if you feel like you're going to have a good day, that doesn't last very long, because then there's some other nonsense that just comes creeping in and blows it out of the water. So it's been an exercise. It really has. It has been critical. But I do believe that you have to have a supreme love and a care and an intimacy, at least for myself, for the people in my life that are white or are not Black, that I can sit and have a conversation with them, because I love them enough to do so, and they can love me enough to hear it. and we can receive it and see where we can meet. And then there's sometimes it just actually doesn't work. And I'm like, we have nothing else to discuss. And it's
Yeah.
sad. It's sad
Yeah.
to be so polarized, locked down, to be isolated and then have to isolate even further. You know, at the very least, you could have said at the beginning of the year you had what 900 friends or whatever it was, and now I'm like, I can probably kick it with like 60 of y'all, and we can't leave the country. You know, also like if we could leave the country, all the other countries are like, not here. No, 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 no. You guys can't come in. So it's tough. I think it is. It's been really hard. It's been really hard. But look at it. Like we started the conversation with like 300 or 400 people, right? And we got 59 left. And that's it. That's what we're seeing. That's exactly what's happening. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, they're really funny. Oh no, they're talking about race. I gotta go. I can't do this today. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really tough. I can't do it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the truth. That's
Yeah.
just what it is. People just tune the fuck out, and that sucks because you're talking about a loss of life, not like a feeling, not a fashion, not any of that. Like, what are you here for? We started with literally like, we probably had 500 people at the height of this chat because we're cutting up and carrying on, and we're still good friends and we still cut up and carry on. But it's like, yo, they have something to do. They got something else to do because we don't want to talk about this anymore. And I'm like, this is the problem, America. This is
Yeah.
the issue. This is
Mm.
the issue. I don't know.
Beautifully said.
It's for shit, LG.
It is.
Yep. So,
Two other things I would suggest not saying. So, what are some solutions? Second, I hope you're taking care of yourself, Azure.
oh, the self-care.
Must be a hard time, and I hope you're take care of yourself.
I'm like, you know what would be
After you give
cool?
us some solutions.
Stop shooting us. That's better self-care. Mm-hmm. I could take care of myself better if we weren't being gunned down in the street or bed or our living rooms. Those would be helpful. Also self-care. But like, that's what I'm saying, Liz. Like this, it's simple. This shit is not, this isn't math. This isn't collegiate. You don't even have to be able to spell. This is very, very basic stuff. It's super easy. Everybody wants to complicate it. You can give it whatever term you want. I'm not here for your micro and your macroaggressions and your inherent bias or your inherent oppression and your unconscious bias and your consciousness. Like, keep your bullshit. Stop doing that. Once you see it and you know that it is happening and you say nothing and you do nothing to fix and or correct, you are complicit. Complicit says that that's okay with you. Complicit is supremacy. Supremacy is racism. That shit is wrong. Black, white, whatever you want to call it, it's very easy. My self-care would be that I could just walk around outside. My self-care means that I could get mail delivered to my house because my postal worker isn't a flaming racist that is protected by the city that I live in where I pay taxes. That's self-care, that I don't have to go outside every day. That would be super helpful. But the US Postal Service doesn't care. So they don't deliver my packages and they keep my books and they don't send my stuff out. So my customers are pissed off at me because I haven't mailed out their stuff because I'm dealing with nonsense from Ohio. But you probably don't want to talk about that either. And it's so trickled. It's so massive. There's so many layers. And you just think, for me, I'm just tired. I'm just tired, just black. I'm just tired. So yeah, I stand on the front lawn and I look at the fire. And I'm like, cool.
Did you happen to see the post that Glennon posted yesterday of her interview with Mayor Pete?
No, I saw a clip of it. Tell me about it.
Just that little clip. And thank you guys. Thank you who have stayed for the conversation. We see you.
Yeah, we definitely see you. Yes. It's okay, Jamie. I know you're in Ohio. It's not your fault, sweetheart. That's okay.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it.
She's packing up the kids. Get your stuff. Save yourselves. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Glenn, it's just this one little 1 minute clip. I'm going to post it later on my Instagram that I think is like the most succinct explanation of white female complicity with white male supremacy. It's like a 1 minute here's how it works. And it's so good. And essentially what she said was, white women have been making a deal with the devil forever. And the deal with the devil is, we will take your protection, right? We being white women, going to white men in power, keeping white men in power, because we'll have proximity to their power. And by proximity to their power, we will be safe. They won't actually give us any power, but they'll give us this sense of security in a world that they created. So it's almost like, she didn't say this, but it's almost like the mafia, like it's a racket where the mafia protects you from itself, right?
Yeah, sure.
So like there's a system that's been created, and white women are like, I'm going to stay next to, as close as I can and as high as I can up next to the people who are running this racket, so that I can be safe and or have a feeling of security. But it comes with a couple things. One, I will actually have no power.
Right.
And two, in order for me to hold on to that illusion of safety, I've got to sell out my humanity, which means I've got to say, I'm really happy about the way the police protect my neighborhood, and therefore I refuse to see what the police are doing in the other neighborhood. I demand that my school gets 5 iPods per kid. I don't want to know about the migrant farm workers' kids 2 miles away who are starving to death. I refuse to look. I refuse to look, because I need to keep my own little pocket of security and safety intact. And what Glennon was pointing out that she's been learning, by listening to Black activists, is white women, this has fucked you too, because what you've given up is any access to actual power and also your humanity.
Right.
And I really thought, I was like, good, Glennon, well said, like really well said.
And my thing is like, I'm trying to work out in my mind, like I'm doing all of this work. We're doing all of this fucking programming. I literally have never been this busy in my entire career. So, I'm hearing from all these different folks, and we're putting these things together, and we're trying to get these campaigns off the ground. And I'm like, is it going to work? Because like, this is only popular for a little bit. Like, this is not actually a thing. This isn't a thing that people can stay with. So I feel this. I feel what Glennon's talking about. I feel the explanation. You and I have conversations every week, all day long, on text, memes, DMs, whatever it's going to be. And I'm just like, so where do we go next? What is it?
Right.
Like, I have seen you now for the last few months consistently passing your mic, doing the stuff, living the verb of allyship, not performing, not with the okie doke. And still what? You're goddamn Elizabeth Gilbert. If you and Glennon can't goddamn do it, well, shit, I might as well just have a seat and stay in here in my weird IKEA soundstage, because it's y'all. I mean, if you told everybody right now, go out and get this chapstick, it will change your life, we both know that chapstick is done. All that chapstick is gone. But you have definitely told people, stop being racist. And they're like, well, Liz, it's just getting so tough to follow your page because I come here for inspiration. Ooh, and it's weird. It's really hard when you're just, ooh, why do I have to buy this book? Ooh. And I'm like,
you recommend so many books, Liz. That's the one. Did you remember that woman?
Yes. Oh, I forgot her name.
So
God, I wish I remembered her name.
Books
she was like,
by Black
oh,
women.
Liz.
To which I wrote back, I'm sure you'll be okay.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just so tired of all these books you keep. It's so tiring.
Ma'am.
Like, I think you're going to be all right. You want to talk about tired?
All I remember was her name was Jennifer. I
remember it was Jennifer Argues.
Yes.
Her handle.
I was going to say Jennifer Trauma, but it was Jennifer Argues. And I was like, oh, what? And I had to sit back. I talked to my therapist that day about it. And I was like, should I go online? And they were like, so is this what you would normally do? I'm like, do we have a normal? What is time? We can change. Let's be petty. Everyone, let's do it. It's fine. And they were like, Liz probably wouldn't do that. I was like, y'all don't know Liz. Y'all think it's me. You don't know. Y'all don't know. It's because my hair is shaved on the sides and I got all these weird earrings and holes in my face. So you think it's my fault. It's Liz with a cashmere. I have cashmere. I have it somewhere. She gave me one. I have my own cashmere.
I did. I was like, hey, I'm sorry my country sucks. Here's some cashmere.
You did. You know.
I did.
Y'all,
I didn't know what else to do.
She was like, Azure, I love you.
I love you.
I'm thinking of you.
Here's something warm.
I'm
I don't
sending
know.
you, think of me. I sent you a cashmere. And I'm like, oh, Liz, oh, honey, who do you want me to do with
Yeah,
this cashmere? And then, of
I don't
course,
even know. I
we
want,
caught
I
fire.
want, I want the cashmere to make it all better.
Mm. And if we can't get a pumpkin spice latte, Liz, and talk about how far we've come, who are we? What are we doing here?
I feel like the cashmere will make the bad men stop.
Mm. Because, Liz, cashmere, that's healing. And healing, that's hope. And
That's
hope,
self-love. That's
that's
self-love.
progress. Yeah. Hey, are you checking in? Are you doing something for you? Hmm?
I just want to make sure you get a little, schedule a little
Oh,
time to
oh,
yourself to do the things
and
you
make sure
love.
you go within, okay? Not don't go out.
Okay,
Put your
now for real though,
put your mask on inside. Sorry.
we joke and it's
Last one.
true, but also it's like, how are you in? How are you going in these days? Like,
Azure?
yeah, man, no. Jennifer argues.
What?
Who do you think I'm talking to? I'm still looking. I can't read that one. I'm old. Wait a minute.
It
Hang
says
on. Look,
it
I got new ones. I got new ones.
peepers in the
I got
house.
new ones. I got new ones.
Peepers, what?
What does that say? And it's also backwards.
It says
I
I
love
love meetings.
oh, meetings.
About meetings. That's
About
how
me.
I go within, Liz. I take another fucking meeting. I love to meet.
Yeah, man.
I've been gardening.
What's your spirit life like? That's what I want to
I've
know.
been gardening. I garden ferociously.
Yeah.
And it's been it's been very, very healing because it reminds me to grow. When I finished radiation a couple of years ago, I started this tattoo sleeve, which you can't really see it, but it's all flowers. And it covers a lot of like the burn scars
A
and things
dream
like
catcher?
that. It's too fucking early for you. And I'm not, and you know, I have kids watching me and stuff. And you got me out here cutting up, Gilbert. And I will come down there in a hazmat suit and I will take you out. And that's not a metaphor, Gilbert. See, this is why I don't play with you because you are not this, that, you know. And why don't you let me be great? And you know what? We done. That's it. This is it. And this clip, this is going on the replay. Because you don't know how to act, Liz. This is why we can't have anything nice. And then I get stereotyped, but you get to just hang out and wear mala beads. You what? I'm trying, Liz.
Go
That's
ahead,
it.
honey. Tell
No,
me more about
don't.
your, tell
No,
me more about
go
your
away.
tattoos.
That's it. I would hang up on you if these 52 people weren't still watching, but
I'm
I'm here for
listening.
them.
I just thought, go ahead. Go ahead.
Laura, let me fill you in. Let's see. What did I miss? What did Liz ask? Let me tell you what she said, Laura. I'm gonna talk to you, Laura. I'm not talking to Liz. Liz ain't even here. She said, how are you going within? The white woman, my white friend from America, okay, asked her black friend from America, okay, what is she doing to go within? How is she caring for herself, Laura? So I was going to answer, and I said, I've been gardening, Laura. That's what I've been doing. I have been ferociously gardening. And Liz looked at me with her dear one face and was like, And then I started to tell a story about how I got tattoos here because when I had first got diagnosed with MS, I had to get some radiation to try and get things, sorted. And it left a lot of scarring. And so to cover those scars, I started to build a garden on my arm, a tattoo of flowers and things that grow to remind me to always bloom where I am planted. Even if I'm not planted, you bloom. Because that's who I am, Laura. That's who I am as a person. Don't worry about what Liz said. Liz said, as I'm showing this beautiful mosaic, is that a dream catcher? No, it's not, Laura. It's not. You know why? I don't culturally appropriate. So I wouldn't put a dream catcher on my body. But Liz Gilbert doesn't know how to act
Is it
on
an
live
ohm? Is it the
Instagram.
ohm sign? Do you have the
I
ohm sign
will
on there
come
someplace?
down there today. I will get on the Greyhound bus and I will come to your church and we will have service, Gilbert. Elizabeth. You know what? See, this is why. Where's Emma? This is why we can't have nothing. I can't even hang out with you anymore. Got me all upset in my dusty rose just bow tie. I'm upset. You don't even have a second dog. You don't even have one.
I do. I just don't know.
No, you don't. This is why y'all, I made that comment today, because this is what happens. We literally can just have a whole breakdown, and then this fool at the bottom here, this one that all y'all just running around with, going to India, y'all in Thailand, you up here changing your life and stuff. This is the one. It's probably, you know what? Let me stop. You're welcome, Laura. You are welcome.
Aren't you glad you asked, Laura? Aren't you glad you got that?
It's a compass. It's a compass to remind me that I am always true north.
Yes. It's beautiful.
I will take you. Do not. I'm so sick of you. I'm tired of this. I don't need this abuse. I'm the Maya Angelou of the millennial generation, as Forbes said it. You don't know me. I eat and pray and I love with big magic in a city of girls.
God. Oh. I'm glad you're taking care of yourself by gardening. It's important. It's important to touch the earth and remember where we came from, you know, to the electromagnetic fields in the soil, soothe the nervous system, the meridian of the body. It's good. She's gonna do a walkout.
What are you doing, Liz, to go with them? Did you make some sourdough this week, or what did you do? What did you? No. Here. I know what you did, Liz. You were like, I need to disconnect. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take some time for myself, you know, and I'm gonna look within. I'm gonna look within, and I'm gonna. Oh.
Horrifying how much you sound like me right now.
Hey, honey, what are you doing for you?
Hey. Well, you know, I've been doing a lot of reading about how social media is bad for you. So I'm just going to stop watching the news, and I'm going to stop doing social media, and I'm just going to check out, because it's making me stressed.
Yeah.
It's making me stressed. And
if 2020 has taught me anything, it is that we have to take care of ourselves alone.
We do. We mostly ourselves.
Mostly us.
Definitely not one another. But
and
ourselves.
That's why we're apart, really. Awkward. That was terrifying. That was really quite fun.
That was bad. That's horrifying.
Honestly, I don't think we're ever going to get a show. I was hoping that this was going to materialize, because we had some interest, but I don't think we're going to get it.
What we have is this amazing community of 48 people.
We are the change. The two of us and you 49. It's us.
Exactly.
This is all we have.
Yeah. This is it. And together we can. And
we can.
The revolution is going to begin with these. It's 50. It's an even 50. It's the two of us and you. Oh, we got another one. Another 49.
49. So, we are back to 51. And this is how you change things. We are doing it. Yes.
I feel so good, because after I am done talking to you today, I can be like, racism checked off list of things to, you know, like done.
Conquered. Canceled. Finished. Finito. Accomplice. Mise en place. All of it.
Oh, Lord. I just saw something. I'm a 20-year-old stuck in Auburn, Alabama. Oh, honey.
That's not funny. I don't know why. That's not funny.
I just want to love that person up. I just want to love that person
Send
up.
her a cashmere.
Can you give the address?
What's
Peggy,
your
give me
address?
that's my assistant. Let me talk to my girl, who is
Aspen.
also invisible in addition to
Aspen, come here. Aspen.
Aspen.
Aspen works for me. Aspen, get her address.
Why was my imaginary assistant named Peggy? I'm from the
Because
1950s.
it's you. Because
Yeah.
that's why. I mean, thank God her name wasn't Karen.
Azure, tell us what you were like when you were 20.
Oh, I'm mostly intoxicated.
Oh,
Pretty heavily. But I was also working in human resources, but which I think might have informed the intoxication.
got it.
So yeah, and that's it. Yourself?
Lovesick over any number of people, like just taking my heart and just putting it on the end of a javelin and just throwing it at one person after another.
You love me.
And if I could impale them with it, then everything would be okay. So I was just doing that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was a sick and suffering love addict for sure.
Secret Mango, Liz Gilbert's gonna send you a cashmere.
Yeah,
Um,
honey.
so and that right now that's all we can do. Um, Stay safe though and look after yourself, will ya?
Yeah, be safe. Take care of
Oh,
yourself.
go
Don't neglect
inside.
self-care.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't just stay inside. Don't go
And
out.
get a pet.
Yes, one of Liz's. Those
You
are
can
they're
have one of
very
my
good for
imaginary dogs.
hypoallergy. She doesn't have a second one, so it works out really well.
Do you want to say hi to Chunky?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay,
do.
you do. All right, hang on. Because I know where he is. He's in his chair that he always goes to. Hey,
We
buddy.
love you too, Secret Mango. Hi, Chunky. I know. Hi, buddy.
I can't get his
Hi.
face to lift up. Look up, buddy. He's like, why? Why are you doing this? I can't even get an angle. I'm such a bad cinematographer. There he is. Okay. There he
Hi,
is in
Chuck.
profile. Yeah, he's pretty
Oh, he's
excited
too
to see
cute.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's thrilled.
Yeah, he's very
Seeping
passionate.
through. Oh, look at. Oh, cashmere for the remaining 44, Liz.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Just put your addresses down. We'll get them all sent out.
Yeah,
And you get a
just
cashmere, and you get a cashmere, and you get a
cashmere. This has been completely accosting, and I truly have enjoyed our time together.
cashmere. I have to.
Like,
I
why
love
are we
you.
like this? I love you too. I really do.
Why are we like, what's
I
wrong
don't
with
know.
us?
I'm not sure or what's right.
Why can't we? Anyway, I love you. And I'm glad that yet again, we fixed everything. I feel like we're good.
Uh,
Like the country's good for another day. We got it all. We should have a show called Solved It with Azure and Liz.
oh, and our logo will be the green check. Done. Hi, Jolene. We love you too,
Solved
sweetheart.
it.
Yes, it's on the way. Don't you worry, paperback mama. We're just dealing with some racist systems, but yep, it's coming. Don't worry. What's right with you? I think you're right, Laura. Our love to you. We'll be back at the Teller community here pretty soon, just trying to get some things ironed out, y'all. It has been
Oh,
a
somebody
true,
just
true
said
saga.
that solved should be misspelled if our show is called Solved It.
Oh, Cody, you're 100% right. Most of the things that Liz will author. Yep. None of, don't you worry about it. We got that. Check. Much love.
We love
Much
you
love.
all. We love you all so
Bye, y'all.
much.
Have a good day.
Bye.